I always thought my family would be there for me when it mattered most. Maybe that's why it hit so hard when they weren't. My baby shower was supposed to be last Saturday. I'm expecting my first child, a little boy, and while I'm not usually the type to crave attention, I was excited to celebrate with the people I love. My best friend Ava helped plan it. We sent invites out a month in advance. Everyone RSVP'd yes, including my mom, dad, and my sister Emily. 2 days before the shower, my mom called me. At first, I thought it was just a quick chat to say how excited she was. Instead, she sounded weirdly hesitant. "Sweetheart, Emily's cat Muffin, it's her birthday this weekend," she said. I laughed, thinking it was just some random small talk. But then she added, "We're doing a little party for her. You know, it's Muffin's first birthday. Emily's so emotional about it. It's like her first baby too." I just sat there stunned. "Wait," I said slowly, "are you saying you're not coming to my baby shower because of Muffin?" Mom sighed like I was the unreasonable one. "Honey, you know how much Muffin means to her. Emily's had a hard year. We can't just leave her alone to celebrate her baby's first birthday." Her baby. A cat. I didn't even know how to respond. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. They had promised they'd be there. They knew how much this meant to me. I hung up quickly before I said something I couldn't take back. The day of the shower, I pasted on a smile and welcomed my friends, Ava, and a few kind coworkers. Everyone kept asking if my family was coming later. I just kept saying they had something come up. I couldn't even bring myself to tell the real story. It felt too humiliating, like some kind of punchline to a joke I didn't understand. Later, when I saw the photos on Emily's Instagram, a full-blown party setup, balloons that said, "Happy first birthday, Muffin," and even a tiny cake for the cat, I cried in the bathroom while Ava knocked on the door asking if I was okay. They hadn't just skipped it. They had celebrated missing it. I haven't spoken to them since. Part of me keeps waiting for an apology that probably won't come. Part of me knows this changed something between us forever. And the saddest part? I don't think they even realize what they took from me. A week passed before Mom finally texted me. No apology, no acknowledgement, just a simple, "Hope you're feeling good, sweetie. Can't wait to meet my grandson Blue Heart. I stared at the message, feeling something inside me snap. It was like she was pretending nothing happened, like skipping one of the most important days of my life was no big deal. I didn't answer right away. I needed time. I needed to figure out how to even explain the way they made me feel, like I was second place to a cat. A few days later, Emily called. She launched straight into talking about Muffin's party, how cute everything had been, how Muffin even wore a little bow tie. She was laughing like it was all just adorable. Finally, I interrupted her. "You know you missed my baby shower, right?" I said, my voice shaking more than I wanted it to. Emily paused. "Yeah, but it was Muffin's first birthday. You'll have plenty more showers in the future." "Plenty more showers? Like this one didn't even matter?" I couldn't even argue. I just said I had to go and hung up. I sat there for a long time, feeling numb. Maybe I was stupid for expecting more. Maybe I was stupid for thinking that family always shows up when it really counts. But in that moment, I realized something even harder. Sometimes, you have to stop expecting people to be who they're not capable of being. And sometimes, you have to protect your heart, even from the ones you thought would never hurt you. The closer I got to my due date, the heavier everything felt. Not just physically, emotionally too. Every time my phone buzzed with another casual message from Mom or Emily, acting like everything was fine, it felt like another tiny cut. I knew I had a choice to make. I could shove all my hurt down, let them sweep it under the rug like they always did, or I could finally draw a line. One evening, while folding tiny onesies in the nursery, I made my decision. I called Mom. She picked up almost immediately, all cheerful. "Hey, sweetheart. How's my favorite mama-to-be?" I didn't waste time. "Mom, I need to be honest. I'm still hurt. You and Emily skipped my baby shower for a cat's birthday party. And you've acted like it was no big deal." There was silence on the other end. I could almost hear the walls going up in her mind. "Sweetheart," she said finally, her voice careful, "I'm sorry you feel that way. But you have to understand, Emily's had a hard time. Muffin is like family too." I felt something settle inside me, cold and certain. She wasn't going to apologize. She didn't get it. She didn't want to get it. "I understand," I said quietly. "And because I understand, I think I need some space for a while. I need to focus on my baby and building a family that shows up." Mom tried to backpedal, tried to guilt-trip me, but I stayed firm. I ended the call feeling like I could finally breathe. It wasn't the ending I wanted, but it was the one I needed. My son deserves a mom who knows her worth. And maybe for the first time I'm finally learning mine. When my son Noah was born 2 weeks later, everything else faded into the background. The first time I held him, tiny and warm against my chest, I thought, this is what matters. Not who didn't show up. Not who couldn't be there. Just this little life looking up at me with eyes that trusted me completely. Ava was the first one to visit us at the hospital, arms full of flowers and snacks. She cried when she met Noah, and somehow, that meant more to me than I could ever explain. My family texted, "Congrats," and "He's beautiful." But no one came. Not my mom. Not Emily. They said they didn't want to overwhelm me, that they'd visit once things settled down. I told them not to rush. I didn't even know if I wanted them to come. Weeks passed. I settled into life with Noah. The sleepless nights, the slow, soft mornings, the endless wonder of it all. And the weirdest thing was, I didn't miss them the way I thought I would. I didn't feel empty. I felt full. Full of love. Full of peace. One night, while rocking Noah to sleep, I realized I had already built the family I needed. It wasn't about blood or history. It was about who showed up, who chose love without needing an excuse. And for the first time in a long, long time, I didn't feel second best. I felt whole. 6 months later, I barely recognized the girl who once waited by the phone, hoping for her mom's approval. Noah was crawling now, babbling in his own little language, reaching for everything with sticky fingers and wide, curious eyes. Every day with him felt like its own celebration. No balloons, no parties, just small, perfect moments stitched together. Mom and Emily did eventually ask to visit. They sent long texts about how much they missed us, how they wanted to make it up to me. Maybe they meant it. Maybe they didn't. But by then I wasn't angry anymore. I just wasn't the same person who needed them in the same way. I let them come by one afternoon, keeping the visit short. They cooed over Noah, brought a few toys, acted like nothing had ever happened. I smiled, thanked them, but deep down, I knew I had moved on from waiting for something more. You can love someone and still understand they don't deserve the closest parts of you. Now, every time I hold Noah, every time he laughs just because I walked into the room, I'm reminded, I chose better. I chose him. I chose me. And that will always be enough. Sometimes late at night, when the house is still and Noah is finally asleep, I catch myself thinking about everything that happened. Not with bitterness, not anymore, but with a strange kind of gratitude. If they hadn't skipped my shower, if they hadn't made it so painfully clear where I stood, I might have spent years chasing something that was never mine to begin with. Their approval, their attention, their version of love. Instead, they handed me a gift without even realizing it. The gift of clarity. The gift of knowing exactly where I needed to build my future, and exactly where I didn't. I'm learning to make peace with the family I was given, and to celebrate the family I'm creating. Not every lesson is gentle. Some break you wide open first. But when you start to heal, you realize you're not broken at all. You're just finally free. If you had told me a year ago that this would be my story, I don't know if I would have believed you. Back then, I thought love meant showing up no matter what, even if it hurt. I thought loyalty meant holding space for everyone else, even when they didn't hold it for me. Now I know better. Love is reciprocal. It's not meant to leave you feeling small or forgotten. It's meant to be a place you can rest, not a battle you have to keep fighting. I still love my mom. I still love Emily. That hasn't changed. But I love myself too. And that love finally has a seat at the table. Noah will grow up knowing that real family isn't perfect. It's the people who show up. The ones who listen. The ones who stay even when it's not convenient. And for that lesson, even if it came the hardest way possible, I'll always be thankful. I didn't lose a family. I built one. And it's everything I ever needed. As the months went by, I began to see my life in a different light. Each day with Noah felt like a new chapter. There were still challenges, sleepless nights, teething, the occasional meltdown when the baby refused to nap, but it felt different now. The weight of the past had lifted. I wasn't waiting for apologies anymore. I was building memories with the people who truly mattered. One afternoon, Emily called out of the blue. She asked if she could stop by to meet Noah, and I knew in that moment something had shifted. There was no pretense, no attempt to make up for the past, just a simple request to see her nephew. I agreed, but I wasn't sure what to expect. When she arrived, Noah was already in his high chair, snacking on some mashed bananas. She knelt down beside him, smiling softly as she reached out to stroke his head. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't dramatic, but there was something so real about it. "I'm sorry," she said quietly after a moment, her eyes meeting mine. "For missing the baby shower. For not being there when you needed me." I looked at her, at the woman who had once been my closest friend and who, in so many ways, still felt like family, but also like a stranger. I know, I said, my voice gentle but firm. But it's okay. It's in the past. I'm not holding on to it anymore. And honestly, I wasn't. We didn't need to talk about it further. We just moved forward, both of us quietly accepting that life had shifted and maybe that was okay. Noah babbled happily as Emily chatted with him, and for a moment, it felt like the awkward distance between us had finally started to close. Not with grand gestures but with small, steady steps. And that was enough. As Noah grew, so did the understanding that family doesn't always look the way you expect it to. The first time Noah called me Mama, the world seemed to stop for a second. It was a moment I had dreamed of, a small, beautiful moment that no one could ever take from me. It wasn't about what anyone else had done or failed to do. It was about me and my son together. I started to see the beauty in the small things. His first steps, the way his eyes lit up when he saw his favorite toy, his tiny hand reaching for mine in the middle of the night. I wasn't just his mother, I was his whole world. And that was more than enough for me. There were still occasional calls and texts from Emily and Mom, sometimes with updates about Muffin or some family event I wasn't invited to. But I learned to respond with kindness, not bitterness. I didn't have to change who I was, but I also didn't need to accept anything that felt like an afterthought. I protected my peace, and that was a lesson I would never unlearn. One afternoon, when Noah was about a year old, Mom came to visit. She sat with me in the living room while Noah played on the floor, and for the first time in a long time, the conversation didn't feel forced. "I've been thinking," Mom said, her voice soft. "About the shower, about everything. I realize I didn't show up for you when I should have." I didn't say anything at first, just let the words hang in the air. After a moment, I looked at her. "I know, Mom. But it's okay. Really. You don't have to apologize anymore. I found my peace." And that was the truth. We didn't need to go back to the past. We just needed to move forward, slowly, steadily, without the weight of past mistakes holding us down. Noah was growing and I was too. We were building our own family, our own story. And this time it felt right. In the quiet of those moments, I knew that whatever happened, I would always have what truly mattered. My son, my strength, and the love that had been quietly growing between us. And, in the end, that was the family I had always needed. As time passed, I started to realize that everything had unfolded the way it was meant to. My journey wasn't about having the perfect family or a flawless story. It was about learning to be enough on my own, and knowing that the people who truly mattered would show up when it counted, even if it took time for them to find their way. Noah was almost 2 now, and every day was a new adventure. His laughter filled our home, and his bright eyes gave me the courage to face whatever came next. The life I was building, with him at the center, felt full, not just of love but of wisdom. The kind of wisdom that comes from learning not to depend on others for validation, but instead to find it within yourself. I've learned that sometimes the people you love will disappoint you. Sometimes they won't show up when you need them most. But that doesn't mean they don't love you, it just means they're human. And in the same breath, it doesn't mean you have to wait for them to change. You have the power to build your own happiness, to define your own family, and to surround yourself with those who lift you up, rather than weigh you down. And when I look at Noah now, the way his tiny hands reach for me when he's scared, or how his face lights up when I walk into the room, I know this: the love I've created with him is more than enough. It's everything. I found the family I always needed. It's built on a foundation of patience, understanding, and, most of all, choosing who belongs in your life. And that choice, that power, is mine. So, to anyone reading this who feels lost or like they're still waiting for someone to show up, take a deep breath. It's okay to let go of what you thought you needed. Trust that the people who truly matter will be there when it counts. And until then, remember that you are enough. You are worthy of love, peace, and everything you desire. And just like I did, you'll find your way. It's been a while since everything with my family happened, and honestly, I don't feel the need to revisit it anymore. I've come to understand that healing isn't a straight line, but a series of moments. Some small, some big, some filled with tears and others with pure joy. The important thing is that I'm in control now. Every milestone Noah reaches reminds me of how far I've come. From the first time he said, "Mama," to the day he took his first steps, I've been there for every moment. And I wouldn't trade those quiet, intimate experiences for anything. They're mine. Ours. Recently, I had a conversation with Ava. She asked me if I thought things could ever go back to normal with my family, and I told her, I don't think normal is what I want anymore. I don't need them to be who I imagined they'd be. I've learned to redefine family. It's not about who shares your blood, but who shares your heart. I've kept the door open, but I've stopped waiting for them to walk through it. Instead, I've been focused on the people who have consistently shown up. Ava, who's been a true friend since day one, and my other close friends who came to the hospital and celebrated every little achievement Noah made. They're my family now. The ones who are there, not just when it's convenient but always. I used to think family meant having everything line up perfectly, the gatherings, the traditions, the holidays. But now I see it differently. It's not about perfection. It's about connection. It's about building a community of people who see you for who you are, and who choose to stay. And when I look at Noah now, I know the most important lesson of all. You teach your children how to love, how to forgive, how to set boundaries, and how to build their own sense of worth. I want him to grow up knowing that family isn't just about who you're born to. It's about the relationships you nurture, the love you give, and the respect you demand. I've come a long way from the girl who used to wait for her mom's approval. Today, I'm the woman who knows she doesn't need anyone's validation to be whole. I'm enough on my own. And Noah, he's the greatest thing I've ever built. As I sit here watching Noah play with his blocks, stacking them high and then knocking them over with a little giggle, I realize that this, right here, is what I've been waiting for. Not for things to go back to normal, or for apologies to be made, but for me to finally find peace within myself. For Noah to grow up in an environment where love isn't conditional, where his worth is never questioned, and where he knows that no matter what, he's safe. He's enough. I've learned that sometimes you have to let go of the people who don't show up for you, even if they're family. It's hard. It hurts. But it's also freeing. You stop living in the shadow of what you wish they would be, and start creating a life that you can be proud of. A life that's built on the love and respect you deserve. I've stopped waiting for anyone to come around, and instead I've started building my own family, the one I've always needed. The people who show up when it matters. The ones who make me feel seen and loved, who lift me up when I'm struggling, and who celebrate my victories no matter how small. I won't pretend like everything's perfect. Life is messy. Families are complicated. But what I've learned is that I can create the kind of life I want, and I don't need anyone else's permission to do that. So, to anyone out there who feels like they're waiting for something, an apology, a change in someone, a sign that things will get better, I promise you, the moment you stop waiting is the moment you truly start living. Build the family you need, not the one you think you're supposed to have. Choose yourself. Choose peace. Choose love. And if you're ever doubting whether you're enough, just look at your reflection. Because you are. You always were. As I watch Noah grow, I realized that the best decision I ever made was choosing to heal. Choosing to not let the past control my future. It's funny how life works sometimes. The things you think are going to break you, end up teaching you the most important lessons of all. I'm not angry anymore. I don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. My life is full of the love and joy I've built with Noah and the people who've always had my back. The ones who show up, who are here, not because they have to be but because they want to be. And that's all I've ever really needed. I've learned that family is a choice. You don't have to be tied by blood to build the bonds that matter. It's about the connections you make, the respect you give, and the love you offer. I've found that, and I've learned to value it more than anything else. Looking at Noah now, his tiny hands, his innocent smile, I know that he'll grow up knowing his worth, knowing that love doesn't have to be perfect to be real. And I'll always be here to remind him of that, just like I've learned to remind myself. The past is behind me now, and the future? It's mine. And it's bright. I'm finally at peace. I'm finally home.